have the typical story. You know, born and raised in the church there every time the door opened. My dad sang and led the choir. My mom sang in the choir. Both my parents were very musical. So we were there all the time. And that probably was the best thing for me and the worst thing for me, because I just assumed that I was a part of what I needed to be, but I wasn't really. The me that everybody could see. I was always at church. I was now active in the church and wanting to sing in the choir and do all these different things. And then there was the Laura around town. And it's, when you live two lives, sometimes you get lost. Correction, you always get lost. This relationship came along and I had to choose, and I literally did a 180 and walked out the door thinking I'll never go back, you know. And I ended up in the worst place I could imagine, not even being true to myself. My whole life was a lie. I lied to myself just to get through the day. So, yeah. I'm going to be real. Okay? I'm going to be real. I tried to fill that need for love with everything I could get my hands on. And not that I'm proud of it, but I am forgiven from it, and I am free from it. And so I got married. And even though I went into it with good intentions, we did the premarital counseling, we talked through the fact that divorce was never going to be an option for us. We were going to work through our problems. The problem that was hidden under his surface was so much bigger than I could have ever imagined. And ultimately led to our divorce, because I couldn't fix that. He didn't want to or couldn't fix it. And that was really, really rough. It's like you want to fill that void with something, with anything. And I did. And that led to where I was getting married the second time. When that happened, it's like every single day there was still a hole. Every single day I still didn't feel loved enough. And when that fell apart, I was truly left emptier than I ever thought. If I could be a vacuum, I was a vacuum. And it was to the point where I didn't want to breathe. I didn't see a reason to breathe. There was no point in it. And I tried not to breathe. I, at one point, had some prescription meds, and I took them to try to stop breathing. The one thing I will tell people, and I've told you this a lot, okay, is that through it all, God had His eyes on me even when mine were not on Him. So many times I could have just crumbled. I could have died. I wanted to die. And He brought me through. I really believe, beyond a shadow of a doubt, that God brought me to Indiana from California because He knew I needed to be in the safest place possible, because He knew what was coming. He knew what I was going to go through. He knew I needed to be supported. He knew that where I was, I wouldn't have survived it there. I had to be here. And He brought me to Indiana. He had His eyes on me when mine were not on Him.